like, they just actually just see this side.
I know.
Which I really appreciate it.
I know.
And to the right. Oh yeah, yes.
This is a live composer.
It's a hybrid. It's got some classical Hollywood elements to it, which really plays the Superman part of it, and then it has this electronic part to it that plays the injury and the hospital parts of it, and then there's also some violin techniques that I play in it as well that are quite intimate and quiet, and that sort of creates the sound mold of it.
Right, because there's a little bit of familiarity with the Superman theme.
Well, for sure, and of course that was pretty scary, having to put my music next to John Williams's music. But I think I got away with it.
And then lastly, what is it like scoring something like this, where it's kind of it's a tragedy, but it's a celebration?
I think that you've got to really find the perfect tone, especially with documentary. You can't push it too far because the audience feels manipulated. So I was really trying to find a really honest place for the music to exist with the stories that are on the screen, and I hope it did a good job of that.
Brilliant.
That's why I'm here.
What is it like to be outside? What is it like to be someone who's lost a parent?
Better look with the sunglasses. So
yeah, exactly. There you go. So guys, closer together. Just stay together as much as you could.
Rolling.
Okay, here we are. What a tribute to this amazing actor and person. Tell me a little bit about the challenge of putting it together.
I think the challenge was more how to tell the story and make sure we didn't have like a film of two halves, before the accident and after the accident, because I think we were blessed working with the family and the generosity in terms of the interviews they give us, and they provided us with a lot of archives. So we had a lot of an amazing filmmaking team between the editors, the composers, all of that was in there. I think the challenge for us was more the craft and how to craft the story.
Agree? Totally. I mean, the craft is the way that you lead to emotion. If you get the structure of it right, then you're going to get the feelings in the right order, choreographed beautifully. So that was the thing we really focused on, because we really want to take audiences on a visceral, emotional journey in this film.
Yeah, because sometimes we forget that these larger than life characters are actually people, and you show a lot of the good side. I mean, you show a lot of the flaws. How important was that?
Incredibly important, because I think that his heroic stature is increased if you see him as a flawed, vulnerable human being. And I'm not just talking about after the accident, I'm talking also about before the accident. He wasn't perfect, and one of the first things we said to the kids when we started working with them was, we don't want to put your father on some kind of pedestal, and they were totally in line with that. They wanted the film to be authentic and truthful and honest.
And I think to touch audiences, normal people who have normal day jobs. If you just
Superman.
we aren't Superman and weren't Hollywood superstars, it's very important that you actually connect with them through things that we all understand. Because actually, being a superstar is a role you play. If you talk to all actors, however successful they are, they have the same sort of issues. They might have more money, they might have to do more press, but there's so many similarities. And I think for an audience to completely connect with your lead character, which is actually a superstar, is to show the behind the scene of the individual.
And then lastly, obviously, Christopher ends up, after this tragic accident, and then he passes away, and then there's more tragedy in the family. Tell me about telling that side of the story.
Very hard. I mean, I would say it was very. We knew we were going to have to confront this sort of double tragedy at the end of the film.
We don't want to say too much.
But no, we don't want to say too much about that. But we also knew, because what Christopher left behind was these 3 beautiful kids who are now adults and who are in some respects the true heroes of this story. And they don't leave you, when you meet them, they don't leave you feeling tragic. They've found themselves, they've blossomed, and you see in the film how truly remarkable they are. And I think that's what the note we wanted to leave the film on.
I think as well the way we craft our films is that despite it's a documentary, we see all our contributors like characters in a movie. So because the character you're alluding to had such a presence in the film and was so important, we needed to do justice to that person. We needed to tell her story. I gave the gender away, but at the same time, because her story and how he ends up was as influential on the kids as Peter said. And again, it's not a happy ending there, but having the kids as our principal characters, and the fact that what they stood for through their parents and the legacy the parents left and that the children took and carried on, that's what is inspiring with the film.
Brilliant. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So, hi. Yep. Hello. How are you?
Hi, how are you?
Pleasure.
Just a minute, I'll be right with you.
Yeah. How are you today?
I'm good, thank you. This is fun.
It's fun.
Surreal.
It's really fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's really fun.
In 3, 2, and we're rolling.
Okay. After everything that you've had to go through, walking this carpet tonight for this celebration of life in a lot of ways, how does it feel?
It's surreal, but also just such an honor to have all of these people coming out to celebrate the film and to celebrate my dad and Dana's legacy. You know, they loved the film industry, they loved that community, and to have now this beautiful artistic story about their life captured on film and celebrated today, it's really magical.
Whenever there's something like family life becomes public, there's always some trepidation. This film does not hold back in how it talks about the ups and downs and your dad, especially as a real person. Was that hard to see at first?
You know, we agreed to sit for interviews and to hand over home video and then let the filmmakers do what they wanted to do to tell a story about our dad's life. And I think it's all the more meaningful because it shows that he was a regular man, and there are a lot of themes in there that people will connect to. What it is to have a hard relationship with your parent, as my dad did with his family. What it is to go through divorce and find new love. How family can stick together through really hard circumstances and find joy and laughter even in a hard time. All of that is in this film, and it's made more powerful because they gave it such an unflinching and holistic view.
You know, obviously, Superman, catapulted Christopher Reeve. Is it something that you're able to still watch and appreciate?
Yeah, and this film captures so well those heady days. Imagine being in your mid-20s and suddenly on a rocket ship to international fame. Our dad was just an off-Broadway actor, and so I love that they capture these moments of him auditioning for Superman with little skinny arms and big sweat patches, being totally unsure of himself, and his friends who were cheering him on. And it really is a gift to get to look back on that time period and think what a beautiful journey his life took after that, and that we're celebrating all these years later.
I always loved the film Somewhere in Time that he did.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, so it's like, not just Superman, but I thought that was always a great, almost like a Twilight Zone type movie.
It was. I mean, our dad really worked to be in a whole bunch of different movies and stretch himself professionally. He was classically trained as Juilliard as an actor, and so even though people think of the superhero, he really did take seriously his craft and was committed to it both on film and in the theater. And so we love it when people connect with movies other than Superman, although of course that one's deeply important too.
Brilliant. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's a little
know, talks about the greatness, talks about this off-Broadway actor that becomes Superman, but it also shows a lot of flaws. How hard was that to deal with?
He was human, and humans are flawed. We all have them, but what they actually tell is a story of humanity, a story of family, a story of love, that it has something that everyone can relate to. It can resonate with everyone, and you know, you don't have to have been paralyzed or disabled, know someone who has, to relate to the themes and messages of the film.
That's brilliant. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Pleasure, sir. Yep. All right, how does it feel like to get now? here we are show this, all of the trepidations and pain and joy of celebrating your father and your mother's life.
I don't know how much trepidation there was at all, and sure, there's pain in the sense that it's a hard story in some parts, it's a tragic story in some parts, but overall it's a human story filled with joy and love and laughter, and that's what comes through as well in this documentary. So we're incredibly proud of it. The whole experience has been gratifying and fulfilling and meaningful for a variety of reasons. And maybe chief among them is just getting to go on this ride with my siblings, because we're the ones who know this story the best. We had all the experiences, and then to get to share it with the world together is an honor.
Yeah, because the world knows Christopher Reeve, the actor, as Superman, amongst other movies, but it's more personal in your lives. Showing this film and telling this story without holding back, without not showing the human side, not showing the flaws, was that something that you had to get to overcome?
We knew going into this process, once we agreed as a trio that we were going to participate in this and sit for an interview, that we wanted to go there, as it were. This would be the one forum in which we went for it and shared everything and got raw and vulnerable and were honest and told stories we hadn't told before. And it's really meaningful to be able to share all of ourselves in a project that is going to live for such a long time.
The foundation. People from the foundation here, how important is it that you see the legacy lives on?
It's essential that the Christopher and Dana Reeve Foundation get its moment in the spotlight because of all the great work that it does. We're still intimately involved in the foundation, and we're champions of the paralysis community, the spinal cord injury community. That's carrying on our parents' legacy in a tangible way that ripples out over generations, hopefully, and to be able to incorporate that in our story meant a lot.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Everyone, John? Susan? Thank you. Susan?
Well, nice to see you. Susan. Because when I write it later, I want to make sure that what I'm writing is in my head.
The film itself, we had our hands off the steering wheel. The three of us saw a rough cut together about a year ago, and we were relieved that it was so good. And the reason we were relieved, and the reason that we didn't want to have a direct influence on the film, is because we knew it needed to be deep and raw and honest and unflinching and a holistic 360-degree view of this story of this man, because that's the only way that it'll stand the test of time. And it's the proper way to honor both of my parents, because they believe in authenticity and in sharing all of themselves with the world in the hope that people might be able to gain some sort of inspiration out of it in their own lives. And that's what this film is about.
It's so inspirational. So you also know your dad went to war.
Yeah, not really, no.
So what do you think about that now when you look at what he did as a diver?
It's been a blessing to get to see through this film, to have the blanks filled in from all the stories that I knew and had been told but didn't experience myself, because I'm the baby of the family. And I came way after the Superman, and I, of course, only had years